when a lobster loses a fight, because they're fighting all the time for dominance, let's say, in their hierarchies, he kind of crunches down, so he looks smaller. When he wins a fight, he stretches out, looks bigger, and so he's signaling to other lobsters the tally of his victory. So if a lobster has won a fight, he's more likely to win the next fight than you would calculate from having a tally of all his previous defeats and victories. And if he loses a fight, then he's more likely to lose the next fight. Okay, so you think, well, so what? So what does that have to do with anything? Well, the lobster runs on serotonin, neurochemical. And if the lobster loses, the serotonin levels go down, and if he wins, the serotonin levels go up. And when the serotonin levels go up, he stretches out, and he's a confident lobster. And one of the consequences of that is if a lobster loses a battle, and you give him the equivalent of antidepressants, then he stretches out and he'll go fight again. So antidepressants work on lobsters. And you think, well, who cares? It's like, no, 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 you don't get it. We diverged from lobsters from an evolutionary perspective 350 million years ago, and it's the same circuit. It's absolutely unbelievable. And that shows you how deep inside you, how basic, how primordial that circuit is in you that's sizing other people up and looking at where they fit in the hierarchy. Well, with human society, it's more like hierarchies of competence than dominance per se. Lobsters have hierarchies. That's 1/3 of a billion years ago. Okay, that's not a social construction. It's part of being itself. And if you only see a hierarchy as power and tyranny, then you're looking at the world wrong. And like if your serotonin levels fall, you get depressed, you crunch forward, and the whole, everything around you turns cloudy and black, and then you're inviting more oppression, right? And so you get into this bad loop, you know. And so it's really important to, if you're trying to get your act together, it's really important to stretch yourself out and sit up properly, because it's part of the psychophysiological loop that can start you on the upward curve. And so it's a really important thing to take note of. And like if you've been bullied, say when you were a kid, maybe you've moved and so it's sort of irrelevant, you're still carrying that with you in the hunched shoulders, and then you can't breathe properly, your voice isn't right, and you invite more bullying because the predator types are always looking for people who look like they can be intimidated. If you happen to be hunched forward, you know, weightlifting is really good for that, because you strengthen out your back muscles and it'll pull your shoulders back. And you want that, and it's really important as you get older, because you look at old people, you know, and if they're stooped, they start to calcify that way, and then they start to bend down, and like, you know, you don't want to be in that situation when you're 40, maybe 90, you know, but not 40, and certainly not 20. I think part of the reason it signifies dominance is because, like, this is a protective crouch, right? And it's to stop animals that jump on your back from getting at your soft part. So it's instinctual, it's protective, right? So this basically says, I'm open to the world, right? But what it also says is I can handle being open to the world. So it signifies competence and confidence. The thing about competence is acceptance of vulnerability. That's what competence is. That's a deep idea. Most people admire tough, competent people. You know, you admire the courageous. So, well, how courageous can you get? That's the question. How courageous can you get? Well, you practice and see.